Hi Best Buds, it's Cathy with Cathy's Garden and I'm so happy that you've joined me today. Today we're going to be using napkins, book page, coffee dyed tracing paper, which I'm going to do on camera so you can see how I do that. We're going to be using some coffee dyed lined loose leaf notebook paper and some, it was during that dyeing project that we had. It's kind of like a peachy color, food coloring. So let me show you what we're going to be making. I'm going to set this over here to the side. Now I have just recently glued right here because I almost had a disaster. I almost had one of the tassels come undone, and so because I didn't glue it right after I cut it, and when I came in this morning it kind of had started to untie itself. So you know how I always say put that glue on there? Well, I forgot and it almost untied itself. So I've got this one and I've got this one. I can't decide if I like these right here. It kind of reminds me of a, you know, like a, I don't know what it reminds me of, but I'm not sure I like it. I do and I don't. I like this one because it lays flatter, but these don't lay so flat. Maybe after a little bit of time they might. I'm not sure, but anyway, I put a bulb pin here and I used the same color of beads. Oh, I don't have a bulb pin on this one. So this is the one that I just finished this morning. I'm gonna get in my dish here and let's get a bulb pin and a couple of these beads. I'm gonna get it on, but you can see that the same napkin can look a little different, kind of depending on what color of sari silk you use to tie it on with. Now my sari silk's from Crimson Heart Studios, and I'll link her shop down below. So we've got this one, and I've got this one. I'm not sure which one I like the best, and I've got this one. I also use my machine and I sew around the edge. This one is zigzag. This one is zigzag and straight. And this one is straight, that's kind of, you know, double straight, that's swirly whirly on purpose. I think I like this one the best, personally. I put a little bit of lace here on the edge. Let's go ahead, I'll do that in a moment. Let's go ahead and let's look inside. So untying it here, I've got a label that I used as part of my closure. Put a little eyelet in here. And it is a Crinkle Tri Fold flip book journal. I don't know. It has how many pages? 8 pages, I do believe. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 8 pages. And it just sounds so wonderful, doesn't it? You could put some pockets here if you wanted to. I just thought it would be really nice to pop into a journal, to tie on top of a journal, to pop into a satchel, or to send it out in Happy Mail. So whatever it is that you choose to do with it, it'll be great. And you'll have lots of good uses for it. And this is another fun project using napkins. So let's get started, shall we? All right, so I have my tracing paper here. Strathmore tracing paper, 50 sheets, 9 inches by 12 inches. That's the size. You can use whatever size as long as it will cover the size of your book page that you're going to be using. So this is about coffee dyeing tracing paper, this little part right here. So let's get our piece out. Here's our, oh, there's 2 pieces here. We just want one for this example. And I have my sponge brush, and if you follow me, you know that I used to coffee dye in the oven. I no longer do that. I use my brush. In the winter time, I set it on an electric heater that's here in my craft room with me. Never leave your paper on your electric heater. Never, never, never. You must be right there. But in the summertime, I pop it outside. So that's how I dry mine. This is my coffee slurry. It's instant coffee dissolved in some hot water. You determine the depth of your brown that you want by how much instant coffee you add to your water. So I'm going to dip my sponge into my coffee slurry, and I am going to paint my tracing paper. It is as simple as that, you guys. And I kind of like my tracing paper to be, I have to pull this up, guys, to be kind of dark. Yeah, I like it dark. And so sometimes I'll go over it more than you go over it. Sometimes if you know, you can do little designs if you want little designs. So it's all up to you, but that's how, and I only do one side of the tracing paper. I don't do both sides, just one side. So the tracing paper is over being dried now. These are my napkins that I've decided to use. They're the small ones. I think they're called luncheon size. I'm not sure, or maybe cocktail size. I don't know. Does it actually say what size these napkins are? No, it doesn't. So folded, they are 5 by 5. That's folded up. So this napkin only has one ply. So let's go ahead and remove that. Now some napkins have 3. You need to remove all of the extra plies. Now what we want to do is bring in, I'm going to bring this, they all have a little crease, it doesn't matter. But there's a little crease right here, but that's okay. Bring in your book page that you want to use, and then the napkin, and it's going to be placed on the book page like this. Excuse me. My husband has a cold, and I sometimes cough, so I'm going to try not to cough during this video. I don't have a cold, but yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I seem to cough. All right, so now I've got my glue. No, I need to tell you, this is Elmer's school glue. If this container was empty, it would be about that much glue and that much water. Shake it up real well, and then I've got my brush over here sitting in water because I've been making these for a little while. It's a flat brush. I like to use these, and you just simply brush your glue out smooth. That's what you need to do. Just brush it. And yeah, there's a lot of glue here, but I like to use a lot of glue when I'm putting my napkins down. I don't want my napkins to have a bubble or to pop up or anything like that. I really want it to be glued down well. I've got my glue all over my book page. I've got my napkin here. I have to put that away. I've got my napkin here, and I'm going to pop my napkin on, and I am not worried about creases. If you don't like creases and you don't want any crease in your napkin, then you probably might want to think about ironing it before you lay it down. But there's another step after this is dry. If I can get this open again. That when we get this dry, that you will see why it's kind of nice to have a few little wrinkles in it. So adding another layer of my glue, I'm starting from the center and I'm pulling it out towards the edge. Try not to go over and over and over and over. Yeah, I know it's hard because it really, I think this is so much fun that I want to keep doing it. But did I go all the way to the edge? Yeah, I have to get this all the way to the edge. My napkin. Okay, it's okay. I'm talking to myself now. Do you guys do that? I do it a lot. My granddaughter says, "Grandma, you talk to yourself a lot." I said, "Yeah, I know. I always have." Probably because I'm an only child. So I chit-chat with myself. Alrighty. there we go. What do you think about that? All right, all done. Now, to get it up off my glass mat, because I just laid it right on my glass mat and I just smoothed it out, looking for my pin. I have a little pin right here, you see here? And I'm gonna stick it underneath my paper, my book page, and I'm just kind of helping it lift it up because I don't want to touch my napkin. I don't want to touch my napkin. And let's check on how is our tracing paper doing. There. Just got a little bit right here. Let me dab that. A little bit. Oh, this is what's going to sound wonderful. Don't worry, I have a lot that I have dyed here from yesterday. Alrighty, so we've got our little tracing paper that's coffee dyed. And let me pull in this. I have some napkins that are completely dry on my book page. Completely dry. So what I have done this time is I've taken my scissors and I'm going to trim out my napkin around my book page. So just giving it a trim all the way around. Like that. And like this. Okay, and yeah, I kind of have to go kind of slow because I don't want to accidentally cut my book page, although I think I am here, just a little bit, a sliver, it's okay. I'm going to save the bigger piece, and of course I'm going to throw these smaller ones away. Now we have our napkin that's been adhered on our book page very nicely. And remember I said, don't worry about the crinkles in here because it's going to help you. I have got my, we'll use the blue one, I think you'll see it better, the Distress Oxide tumbled glass. I really like the milled lavender, but mine is pretty dry, so it's not going to show the way I want it to show for you. You're going to take it and you're going to just lightly, I'm not pushing it down, I'm just lightly rubbing it, and can you see that it's grabbing all the bumps and it's highlighting all the bumpy areas, all the raised areas. It's adding this beautiful blue color. I think that is gorgeous. And that's why I don't mind if there's bumps on my napkin. Now, because I laid quite a bit of ink on there, it's kind of wet. So I'm gonna dry it and then we'll continue. All right, so the ink is completely dried on here. It's time to bring in our coffee dyed tracing paper. And what we want to do is, I'm going to change it this way. Take your book page and the side that has your napkin, place it down this way. Now you're going to use some wet glue, whether it's that Elmer's glue that you just used or the white school glue or your art glitter glue or whatever glue it is that you like, but not a glue stick. You don't want a glue stick for this project. I'll turn it this way so you can see a little better. You need a wet glue because you're just going to place a fine line, or this isn't that fine. You're just going to place a line around the edge. And if you're not going to sew, then you definitely need to try to get it as close to the edge as possible. A little bit more up there. Now, you're going to take your coffee dyed tracing paper and you're going to place it right on top and you're going to press it down and really press it to get the glue to the edges and get it all glued on. And it's only going to be glued on the edges of your book page. If you put glue all over your page because you think, oh, well, that will be better, it won't, because then you won't get that wonderful sound that you really want. You really want that really cool crinkle sound, right, guys? So don't get carried away with your glue and put it all over your book page, because then you won't get the result that you're going to get by only doing the edges. Now I've got to let this dry. All right, now the tracing paper is glued on and dried to the napkin covered book page. Now, once again, you're going to want to trim out from around the napkin. So let's get that done here. There we go. All trimmed out. Now, I think I would like to bring in my frayed burlap. And here's my little applicator sponge. And let's just go around here and there, not everywhere, just a little bit, just to add a little bit of contrast. Okay, and then I'm going to turn it on this side, and I'm actually going to go around the edges like this. Okay. Now, if you have a machine and if you like to sew your papers, this is where when you go and you sew around using whatever stitch that you want to use. So I'm going to show you what I've decided to use. All right, yes, you guessed it. I use the one where you sew a fairly straight line and then you go back and you do kind of jaggedy, swirly, serpentine type sewing. All right, so we've got that done. It looks like this on the back. Now what you'll want to do is you'll want to kind of decide what is going to be your front flap. I want this to be my front flap because I kind of chose this part on the others and I want them to be fairly similar. And so this is going to be my front flap and it's going to fold out like this. So with that said, I'm going to take this end and I'm going to fold it approximately 3.5, approximately. So let's see. This is the part where I don't know. I wonder. Okay, that's about 3.5. I think that's about 3.5. Let me see. Yeah, that's about 3.5. So I'm going to crease it. Now we're going to take this side and we're going to fold it about 2 1/4. So I'm going to get this on a grid line. 2 1/4. You know, approximately, guys, this isn't rocket science. I don't want it up against, so I'm not going to do it that much. Or I could leave this one back a little further. You guys are going, what are you doing? Well, I can always bring in my other one. Yeah, it's not right. What is not right? Why can I not get this right? I'll measure it in just a minute for you. I don't know why I'm having trouble, but I am. There. And then this one, maybe like that. Okay, so what did I end up doing? You can see it's very forgiving. Very, very forgiving. That is 3.5. Why do I have such a hard time getting to 3.5? I don't know. And what's this? 2. 3.5 and 2. I said 2 1/4. So I don't know why I was having difficulty, guys. Who knows? Now I'm going to trim it just a little bit, just so it's not too wonky. And I didn't trim any of my stitching, so that's fine. I think I'll trim a little bit on this side too. Just don't want too much of a wonky envelope. Okay, and it goes this way. So now, let's get our dish. And in my dish, I have a little bit of lace that I'd like to pop right here on the edge. And I have some tassels. I have labels, you guys. This is an important part. You're going to need to select a label that you can use. Now this is just printed on copyweight paper. It's not heavyweight paper. I folded this one already because you're going to want to fold it in half. Now I inked mine up, fold it in half. Move these out. And we're going to find the middle. Yeah, I laugh because it's like, yeah, right, find the middle and fold it 3.5 inches. Yeah, and I couldn't seem to do that very well today. All right, here we are. I'm going to get my glue. That's about half in the middle. I'm going to put my glue on here, holding it. Now I'm going to have to put it on this side and glue this part right here that I did not glue down yet. Whoa, and it just all came. This is not going well. When your videos don't go as planned, right guys? I don't know, I'm struggling today. I'm sure we all struggle, right? Well, this is my struggle day, and the only difference is I record mine. Mine is out for public view. Alrighty, so we got that glued on. Now we're gonna have to let that dry before we put our hole in it. Otherwise, you know, it'll be a chewy mess. So let's go ahead and let's do some of the other things. I'm going to get a larger paper clip right here. And I have my hot glue gun. I hope I plugged it in. Yes, I did. It's a Sure Bonder high temp, and it's got that little special tip. And we're going to glue this right down here, just like that, because I think that's super cute. So adding my glue, and then laying this down. And we're just going to glue it right on the edge, just to give it a little lace. Add a little lace. And not those scissors. I would just chew. Let's trim this off. And let's trim this off here. Okay. Now, we've got that part done. Oh, let's go ahead and let's put our bulb pin on. So I've got a bulb pin, and we're using the teal beads and some gold beads. I think I just added 2, didn't I? Yeah, I just added 2. And I'm gonna pop it on just like this. So I'm using the lace. No, maybe. Trying to go in a little further than, there we go. I'm going to use the tip of my scissors to get this closed. Okay, there we are. All right, so we got that part done. Now for the papers that we want to put in here. How wonderful sounding, right? Wonderful. Now, I have got some coffee dyed lined book pages. I'm going to set this over here. And I'm going to fold it the long way. Give it a crease. And I'm going to fold it again. And I'm going to give it a crease. Then I'm going to bring in my little guillotine. And right here where it's double, that's what I want to keep. Because that's going to flip it. It's going to give me a page. It's going to give me 2 pages doing this. So I'm going to cut the one that we folded here. We're going to cut this one open. Just remove it. So now we have 2 pages. Okay. We're going to do the exact same thing to the colored paper. I have placed them in the order in which I would like them to go into my little booklet. And I'm going to be sewing it on this little fold right here, the front flap fold. So I'm going to place it in here, and I need to make it fit a little better. So I'm just going to mark where I want to trim it, and the fold is right here, so I think I'd like to cut it right there. Now let's just see if I cut this, if it's going to fit the way I want. And yes, it does fit in there. You want it to fit so that this fold right here will close easily. You don't want any binding of your pages right here. So I am going to use my corner rounder. It's pretty tight, but I think we can get it done. I'm going to round the edges of my paper. I'm going to open it up. So here's the center. I'm going to attach it right here. This is where we're going to be sewing it on. So I need a few paper clips. I always, excuse me, I always do this, no matter if it's just a small signature or a large signature. I always paper clip mine, and I always use my little sheet here. Now, if you're new to my channel, it's a sheet that's about 2 inches to 1 inch wide. It's as long as your journal. You fold it in half, you fold it in half again, and then one more time, and you crease it really, really well. You open it up, you put a dot where the folds intersect. Now we're going to lay this right here in the fold, and we're going to take another paper clip and we're going to secure it. Now I've got my little foam pad, I have my bookbinding thread, and I have my awl. I'll turn it this way. I'm going to hold my awl up and down, and I'm going to put a hole where the dots are. Now you have evenly spaced holes in your booklet, and you didn't have to do any math, and it's all straight. So now I'm just going to remove this, but not the paper clips, you guys, and I'm going to thread my needle, and we're going to do kind of a wackadoodle type of sewing. Where's my needle? It's in here. It's very non-conventional. I think it has no name except for wackadoodle sewing. I don't know what to call it. Yeah, I just kind of made it up. So let's go 1, 2, let's go 3, and a little bit more, because I always like to have extra, and some people cringe at that, but you know, that's just the way I do it. So what we want to do is, because we want this ponytail looking thing coming out at the top, since that's what I've decided to do with this project, if you want yours to be like this, what I did was, this is the front, this is the top, and we'll have a little pin put in there. We're going to start there, and you're going to go in that hole that you just poked, and we're going to pull it through, leaving ourselves a tail. Then we're going to go all the way down to the other hole, go in, and then we're going to go in the center hole like that, and then we're going to go back to the original top hole, and we're going to go through. Now I'm going to take my needle off, and we're going to, yeah, I think I have plenty here. I don't think, yeah, looks like my needle went through my thread, so I just need to get them separated. So you can do that by just pulling on one of the, get them separated. Let's see here. They will come apart. There they are. They'll come apart. You can pull it right out. And that, if that happens to you, just pull it right out. Now you have to just look to make sure it's not caught on anything. And it's not. I have plenty of thread here. So I'm going to use my beads. And I think I put, how many did I put? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I put 7 beads on each one of my little strands here. So I'm going to work on putting the beads on my strand, and then we're going to see how we're going to do our closure. We got to make a closure, right? So I just popping back on here because I think I forgot to say I put both of my threads together, and so I just have one strand that's going to be coming out. So both of my sewing threads are together, and then I'm just popping on my beads. So you're going to need a bead that can carry, the hole can carry 2 of your sewing threads. Okay, so here we are with our little ponytail, and we've got everything ready. All we need to do is we need to put our closure. So I'm going to get my standard, oh, so sorry about that, standard hole punch. I'm telling you guys, I'm having a day. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's in the morning too. So maybe, oh, I hope this isn't how my day goes today. But anyway, it's kind of one of those days. I've got an eyelet, and I've got the back of my eyelet. And yes, I always use a back to my eyelet. Otherwise, eventually your eyelet will come away from your paper. It just will. I know people think I'm, making that up, but it's the truth, and that's why they have backs. That's why they have backs to an eyelet. All right, so we've got the eyelet, and it's in there. So now the pages lay flat here, and then you put this part, this flap over, and then this flap, and then what we'll need to do is use our closure, or Sari silk, or our baker's twine, or whatever it is that you have, and put it right through your hole. Now, if you don't have an eyelet, you can use a hole saver. That will work wonderful too. And give it a nice little tie. And I think this is an absolute awesome way to make use of your napkins. If you've liked this video, please give me a thumbs up. I hope you've enjoyed it. And if you have, check out, I can't even remember what I was supposed to say at the end. You guys, it's crazy, isn't it? Oh gosh. Check my next video. See you soon, guys. Bye now.